Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Silica Nexus Investor Q&A panel. My name is Damaris Morse. I'm the Content Marketing Manager at Digital Niche Agency, and I'm here today with CEO of Convergence Silica Nexus, Andrew Prell. We're really excited for you guys to be here today, and we're going to just let the attendees, flow in.
Excellent. I'm just welcoming everybody in the chat there. Andrew Prell with Convergence of Four Dimensions. We are the creators of the Silica Nexus platform. We came together in the end of 2014, actually formed the company in 2015 to reimagine the entire video game space, marry the consumer game industry to the out-of-home entertainment industry, and then knock down all the walled gardens in between and solve all the problems we could find on there, one of which is theft. So we put it on a blockchain backbone to secure all the digital assets for the players, because quite frankly, we were tired of getting ripped off. With that, we've created the fastest NFT marketplace on the planet. We've implemented atomic swaps because it's the best way to trade between players NFTs. So we can trade thousands of NFTs with thousands of NFTs between two parties instantaneously when both sides agree to the transaction. So that's instantaneous. And being out here in Dubai, everybody's talking about we just have to get people educated about the blockchain and educated about NFTs so we can get users on board. Well, we're in the video game space, and video games have had virtual economies and virtual goods with real world value for decades. And the thing that's been missing is the blockchain to secure that, so people can't get ripped off anymore. So that's effectively what we do, and hopefully I answered your questions there.
Awesome. Why don't we give everyone an update on the business? Currently, where are you at in your overall timeline and product development? What do you hope to achieve over the next, year, 5, 10 years?
Okay, so we originally built this player acquisition engine, which is the marketplace, trade binder, and digital vending machine, or the prize nexus. We built that, showed it off. It was more of our Gen 1 system. We showed it off in November of 2019 at IAPA. Got overwhelming demand for it. We started installing the equipment the week of February 27th in New Rochelle, New York was the first location we were installing it in. And the next week the world shut down, because that was literally February 27th was the first broadcast case of COVID-19, and New Rochelle, New York, where we were at installing this stuff, was the epicenter of that. So we ran right into that brick wall. We went back and brought everything down, I guess, built back up from the ground up to make it more solid, to bring in a lot better features. Like now we have NFT scratch offs in there, so we can do game cards, game gift cards, digital game gift cards. We're the only place I know that has digital gift cards that are scratch offs. They're pretty cool. And we've rebuilt everything, got it solid. We're redeploying everything by the end of the year. The marketplace should be fully operational and out at the end of the year. We're in testing right now. We've got a lot of early access testers that are testing the different components of the interface. We're bringing on more developers literally this week to work on the NFTs. We've got a lot of NFT projects coming at us from different angles. So we hope to launch everything by the end of the year, be installing prize nexuses, our digital vending machines into public locations first quarter of next year. And that will get us back on track to have our phase 2 out, which would be Sarah, our augmented reality app. Silica Nexus augmented reality app is Sarah. By third quarter of next year. While we're growing our footprint. So we intend to be in well over 1,000 locations by the end of 2022, which each location will be bringing us over 10,000 users into the platform a month. Each location should average 10,000 plus.
Is there a way you can show us like a quick product demo, Andrew?
So I've got actually here in Dubai the only kiosk that will fit in my suitcase. If anybody has seen, let me switch my background back and forth here just so I can, if I can, show off. Well, nope, I can't, so I won't do it. I was going to try to show off the Prize Nexus digital vending machine is a 55-inch touchscreen kiosk, dual-sided, so it's the size of a door, and they weigh about over 500 pounds. That's not going to go on an airplane with me. But we've got a countertop version. Got a countertop version right here. This one actually came out. It was installed on the countertop next to the big one in New Rochelle, New York. So it's showing some of the attract mode sequences that we had there. But when you touch it, you get to see the different games up here, like that we have. I'll cycle through a few of them, and then you can pick one of your NFTs, add it to cart. I don't know how well that's coming across, but we'll give it the old college try.
I think attendees, can you see it? I can see it pretty okay on my end. What about you guys? Let us know if you're having some difficulty seeing.
All right, so I've got like 3 NFTs. You can add another Ethereum on in here. There we go. We'll add something like that. So we've got 4 NFTs, and if anybody's moved NFTs back and forth, you know that one NFT on the Ethereum blockchain can take 10 minutes to 2 hours to longer to transfer, and today is costing in excess of $40 worth of Ethereum. It might be up to like 60 now to transfer. But here's 4 of them, and I'll show how quickly it takes to transfer. So we'll say buy now. It adds it up in points in the location or tickets, if you remember prize tickets in the arcade, like Chuck E. Cheese, Dave & Buster's, those kind of things, and or droids for that location. So we hit buy now. It comes up with 2 QR codes. One will scan to download the app, and the other one, scans to acquire the shopping cart that we just put together. So I've got my Silica Nexus app up, the Trade Binder app up, and once I scan this QR code, you'll see how long it takes to transfer them to me. They're now transferred into my Trade Binder. Here it says carts moved, and that was how quick it takes to move 4 NFTs. We can do 4,000 NFTs just as quick. So now I just hit purchase items, and they're now in my Trade Binder. So that's how quickly that works. And now it goes back to an attract mode.
Very cool. Thanks for that quick demo, Andrew.
That's from the arcades. I don't know if we have time here or whatever. I can also show atomic swaps and digital scratch off NFTs later on if you want to see those. by
I
sharing
am.
my screen.
I think that would be great. I'll give you screen sharing abilities. Could be also a good topic for another webinar. So attendees, this is like one of many webinars that Andrew and I will be hosting. So if you would like to see something else, like feel free to drop your comments in the chat or the QA, and I'll be moderating that. I would like to note that you know, Silica Nexus is currently raising capital on WeFunder. And Andrew, I wanted to maybe speak to that a little bit. So why WeFunder, and you know, why go the equity crowdfunding route?
Well, we wanted to get a lot more exposure in what we're doing, and felt that the equity crowdfunder route in this one was good for us. We have I hate to say it, a low cap on there right now for the first WeFunder that we're doing. And good question. I don't have a great answer. I will say that it's close to midnight here in Dubai, and I've been going at it since about 8 a.m. But yeah, we wanted to get our crowd, not only in with the droids and in that part of the ecosystem, but sharing in the upside of the company as well.
Awesome. Well, I dropped a link to the WeFunder page, attendees, in the chat. So if you wanted to check out the page, learn more about the company and the investment opportunity, feel free to head over to that page. At this time, I'd like to open it up to all of your questions. So I know you came here to speak to Andrew, learn more about the company, and then also get your questions answered live. So at this time, if you have questions, please feel free to start throwing them in the Q&A or the chat. I will be moderating both, and I'll read them out loud to Andrew and he'll answer. So at this time, we have a question from Nick Dodge. Will there be any fees to send an item I have to a friend?
If the item is in the Silica Nexus, all NFTs can be transferred in the Silica Nexus without gas fees. Now, certain NFTs from different what's 1155s, they can have fees that go back to the originators. So those could be in there, but unless the NFT specifically mandates that the creators get 1% every time you transfer it, or whatever it is, there's no actual just gas fees that you would have on Ethereum or whatever other blockchain, because we're looking at adding several other blockchains as we speak. Actually, that's why we're bringing on the other NFT developers.
Got it. Thank you. I have a question from an anonymous attendee. When will this go to market? What blockchain or crypto will this run on?
The initial launch will be Ethereum, but we're a layer 2 solution and blockchain agnostic. So we're going to Ethereum, and then it looks like Binance, Tron, and my brain just went numb because we were talking about it all this morning, even the third one that's in the queue to be added. So we'll just leave that as a mystery because it is to me right now. I apologize. Names are not my strong suit.
No worries. I kind of have a follow-up question to that. So when do you plan to go to market? What does your timeline look like right now?
As long as testing keeps going at the level it is, we should be launching the marketplace by the end of the year and deploying kiosks first quarter of next year. The way that will go is we will deploy up to 10 different locations for the kiosks. The partners will run them for at least 30 days to determine all of the all of the support that is needed on their end, which really shouldn't be any, but there's always, how do we train our people? How do we get the best, the most out of the kiosk, etc. When they satisfied with that piece, then they will lay out the plan for us to deploy into the rest of their locations. So, and that'll have to coincide with how we can deliver, install, and train. That's part of the process, is to train the whole, that location on how to get the most impact out of these digital vending machines.
And another question from an anonymous attendee. What is your current revenue model, and how will I make a return on my investment?
That's two questions.
Two questions combined into one. So let's split it up. Let's maybe speak to revenue model, and then let's move into some more questions about the investment on WeFunder.
Okay, so with the revenue model, there's a simple and a complex answer, and I usually lean towards the complex answers. But the simple answer is we sell the NFTs to the end users. The complex answer is in the marketplace side of things. Just in the marketplace, the manufacturer, the creator, the game company sells the NFT through our marketplace to the end user, and we take a cut. In the arcade, though, where we have the digital vending machines, the game companies are wanting the users. The arcades are wanting the prizes that don't suck, the prizes that their players want. We actually get to sell the NFTs there to the users and make 100% of the profit, because we're effectively trading, the game companies are trading their NFTs in our system, which costs them nothing to make in our system. As long as they make them in our system, there is no minting fees for them. So they can mint them in our system effectively. It costs them nothing to make. Once you've built once you've built the game, items are next to free to reproduce. So with us making them free to make them into NFTs, costs them nothing. They're trading those with us for the users.
Got it.
So it's effectively, think of our vending machines like a candy vending machine. If you could place 1,000 candy vending machines around the world and service them remotely, and Hershey gave you all the candy you could vend for free, could you make money off of that?
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer, a no-brainer business model. I have a question from Jared. Thanks, Jared, for your great question. What will be some of the first arcades that Silica Nexus will be in?
Well, let me answer that question a different way, because I don't want to step on any of our NDAs on the contracts that we have. But we did have a deal on the table for Namco arcades in the U.S. Well, with COVID, Namco, which Namco is the largest operator in the world, well, they pulled out of the U.S. due to COVID. So that sounded to me, that was like, a really black day, until David Bishop informed me that his group bought them all. And David Bishop is, is part of our team, effectively, or was part of our team. He's an advisor at this point now. So that went from one of the largest, scary groups to work with, because if we mess up, everything's bad, to one of the easiest groups to work with, because we can go in there and he'll allow us to correct any issues that we have and give us time to fix that and get it operating right. So, them acquiring the Namco operations in the US gave us a very, very strong partner very quickly. So we will deploy some of the first ones in there, and we'll just leave it at that for right now. So.
And attendees, I want to just take a quick intermission here, as I see some people are coming in, new people, new faces, some people are leaving. That Silica Nexus is on WeFunder right now. So if you have more questions regarding the investment opportunity, to check out the WeFunder page. There are still some early bird terms left. I mean, less than.
We're right at the edge. We're right at the edge of the early bird terms. I will say, like, the next couple people coming in will probably get the remaining early bird terms.
Right. So like now is the time, take advantage, help us close out the early bird terms. Andrew, why don't you explain early bird terms and like what that means for the investment?
Well, with the early bird terms, we were adding an amount of our droids in with the investment. So they're not only getting the equity part of the investment, they're actually getting a sweetener of our droids, which they can use in the system to buy NFTs, et cetera. I mean, it is how do I put this without stepping on without the attorneys jumping all over me? Just think of it as like our Candy Crush gems to acquire the NFTs in our system. Instead of them having to, they can just put down several $100s into the WeFunder. Well, they'll get a percentage of that in droids. They can turn around and get NFTs that they can sit on that may go way up in value, or maybe they can turn them around right away and get that exact value out of them, depending on the NFTs they select. So, we're not discriminating there.
So now's the time, essentially, you get a huge bonus in terms of droids, which Andrew said, like you said, you can collect an NFT, on top of your investment. So that's a huge bonus, and there's not very much left. So like really take advantage of it now and like help us close out those early bird terms. Is that a droid?
We're also sending out some of the lapel pins to different levels of the early bird terms. They can get lapel pins put on their jacket to kind of show that they were an early adopter, earlier investor.
Awesome. Okay, let's return back to our usual programming. We had a question from an anonymous attendee who asked, like, how do I make a return off of my investment?
Well, I mean, just like any other investment, there, having equity in the company, you're looking for us to grow, and as we grow, your value in the company grows. Also, the ecosystem, as it grows and gets better, the value of the droids go up. So with that, there are multiple opportunities for exits down the road. I mean, you want us to grow up and get either acquired by a bigger fish in the pond, or do an IPO, which is none of that's off the table.
Awesome. If you have any more questions regarding the investment terms, please feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A that I'm moderating. I have a question kind of about competitive landscape. So what does the competitive landscape right now look like for Silica Nexus, or are you a big fish in a small pond?
Well, I like to tell people, in the arcade, where we make our money, where we're, literally at the point of the retail transaction, realize that we have identified the only place in retail where people have already spent their money, and then they have to decide what they spent their money on when they're converting their points in an arcade into prizes. So I like to tell people there that our competition is the 8-year-old Tootsie Roll and the vampire teeth. That versus a video game item that we get to sell with the video, the sex and sizzle of the video game item. So that's our competition in the arcades, are the providers of what they call plush or redemption items, the people that supply the Tootsie Rolls and the vampire teeth and the stuffed animals that you trade your tickets for. That's the competition in the arcade, which is one of our retail sales items. Online in our marketplace, there's several of them popping up now, but the biggest and most well-known would be OpenSea. So OpenSea, on just selling NFTs, is also a competitor there.
And then what are your unique differentiators? So like, why Silica Nexus, and why, if I'm in an arcade, should I choose to redeem a digital reward versus like maybe, the big oversized stuffed doll that that you see, or, like you said, the vampire teeth and Tootsie Roll?
Well, everybody everybody in video games, if you've been in video games at all, I mean, a third of the planet are, video gamers. 2.8 billion people are video gamers. And people who've been in video games understand that the digital items have and retain value. And some of them go up in value. NFTs, are digital video game items in our case, but can also be artwork and things like that, can retain value. In the arcade, our competition, like I said, is the 8-year-old Tootsie Roll and the vampire teeth that can, a lot of the items that you get in the arcade break before you get out of the arcade. If you've seen the glowing plastic sword that you're swinging around and hitting your brother with, that a lot of times doesn't make it outside the arcade before it's gone. And it gets lost in the couch. It gets, mom steps on it in the middle of the night. It's gone. When you take it out of that counter, the value of those physical assets are no more. Here, you get an item, you can try it in a video game, you can use it for months and years. There's no wear and tear on it.
Mhm.
And then when you have outgrown that in that game, you can trade it for different items in our marketplace. So they I'll just say at least maintain value in the system. So that's did I answer the full question or just part of it?
Yeah, I think, no, you answered my question. So what video games right now are you connected with? What, any recognizable games that I would,
Well, just on the
As a gamer
system that we had here, we have Reality Clash, Ether Legends, Ethereum, there's 12 games that we've partnered up with so far. I say 12. I know that's an old number. I believe that we've added several more to it. And that's the direct partnerships we're working with them. They've given us NFTs into the system, and they're chomping at the bit for us to get them more users, or which they're the early adopters, and they're getting kind of very sweet terms. We're also bringing in a lot of the AAA. We're able to bring in the AAA game gift cards. All right, because the AAA game companies, they're interested in NFTs, but they're not sure of the complexities of the technology, how it works with their users. Are they going to get a black eye from working with them? That kind of stuff. This gives them a way to put their toe in the water and see how their users enjoy it and see the process start to finish and how it works for them. And this is a way for us to hold their hand, walk them down the path, and get them to understand that in our system, it's it adds a tremendous amount of value to them. So we can eventually, we want to get a lot of the AAA game company actual skins out of them. I mean, can you imagine Fortnite skins in our system and
Right.
World of Warcraft items and things like that? That's where we're targeting and going for. But right now we can do it through the gift cards on the front end. And then long term, when you look at that, a lot of people, and I'm going to come up with a question kind of thing and then answer it. A lot of people are hit us with all the time, well, the AAA game companies, they already have this walled garden. They why would they ever let you get into their pool of players? That's their gold mine. Well, yes, unless you give them a bigger gold mine to mine from. And realize we have a player acquisition engine, and the majority of a video game's budget, regardless of who creates the video game, the majority of their budget goes to player acquisition and player retention. When I say the majority, well over 50%. If you look at Machine Zone, they created a game in R&D, cost them about $200,000 to create. $44 million later, became one of the top sellers. That's the kind of numbers we're dealing with here. If we can show them a significant dent into that, 5% is a significant dent. We could do that at 40, 50, 60% or more, reduce those costs, then it becomes ridiculous for them not to do this because their competitors will be doing it. And that's what we have. That's what we'll have to prove out in our first year. Once we prove that out, we should be able to onboard a lot of the AAA games as well as the new startup indie games. And with our player acquisition engine, that actually balances the playing field between the AAA game companies and the indie game companies, because no longer, the AAA games company's big advantage is they can spend $500 million to acquire, a million players, or 100 million players, whereas the indie game company can't. Well, but both of them can produce 500 million NFTs for free to go after the same players. And we're going into a space where we're the only ones doing this at this point, where there's 500 million players a month that trade tickets for prizes that suck, and we're giving them prizes that don't suck. So.
I think you've touched on this a little bit in a couple of these questions, like briefly touched on the market and the size. Can you go into a little bit more depth on the current market opportunity right now in terms of, gamers and the gaming marketplace and how you plan on tapping into that?
Yeah. So that's one of the big things, is bringing in the mass market onto the blockchain. And the way we're going about it, they don't care that we're on the blockchain. They care that they get the cool sword from the game that looks as sexy as all get out, right? There's 2.8 million gamers out there in all the platforms. And what we have is a comprehensive ecosystem that marries together all those platforms. And when I say marry together all those platforms, you're talking, cell phone games, tablet games, PC games, arcade games, and theme park attractions even. We're bringing all of that together. Okay. And the more we do this, the more places like Disney and Universal, things like that, can then partner up with AAA games, I'll leave names out of it, and have special NFTs that you can only get here. And when we start doing that, you start getting the effects of like Ultima Online. I mean, if you go back to Ultima Online, there is a urban legend that I've spoke to the guy that bought it of, one of the epic swords in Ultima Online. A guy was playing with somebody else, and he got the loot of this epic sword that there was just very few of them in the game. And the guy made him an offer of like $800 for it. The other guy said, sure, how do we trade it?
Yeah.
Which bringing the blockchain, you get done. But this is Ultima Online eons and eons ago. Well, the guy's like, well, you bring a computer in my house and I'll sell it to you. We're talking Utah versus I believe it was New Jersey. The guy bought a ticket at 3 a.m, went to the airport at 6 a.m, jumped on a plane, ended up in Utah later that afternoon, went to the guy's house, set up his computer, handed him the cash. They transferred the sword. He went and jumped back on the plane and went home. So apparently it was a $1,200 ticket for an $800 sword.
No, people value these in-game items. I remember even as a kid, you would feel like you had achieved something monumental when you got like the special gear or the special weapon, and you really did value that throughout the game. So yeah, it makes sense to why this person would want to monetarily purchase this in-game.
Right. So but with that, if you have unique items that can only be found here at XYZ Entertainment Center, or at people go to McDonald's just because of what's in the Happy Meal, right? So imagine, going, and the one-of-a-kind NFTs are at this location. It's the only place you can get them. And depending on the NFT, people will fly, across the country or around the world just to get that NFT to fill out their collection. And if they don't, they'll buy it from the person who did. And that's the beauty of these things. And that's kind of what brings it in there. So, we're not only doing player acquisition for the games, you're doing player acquisition for the locations as well.
Mhm.
And we will expand this, with our with Sarah AR app into being able to give, video game quests to people in their local area to run around and acquire different things and end up at different locations.
Mhm, mhm. So how many users do you currently have right now? Just curious, how many people are on the
There's
platform?
there's um, there's over 7,400 in the original site that signed up. 7,400 unique email addresses that we have there. We had at one point in time, which with COVID, it kind of collapsed, but we had 15 or 20,000, 23,000, I believe, in the Telegram channel. It's now down to like 500. So it has reduced since COVID, since we got waylaid by COVID. But currently, beta testing this is, I want to say about 550 signed up. I say beta testing it. Sorry, the early access alpha testers. Right now, there's a little, just over maybe 400 or 500 signed up that are doing that. But you can sign up. I think Anthony is in our Telegram channel, and he was signing people up to give them special access to test the different areas of it that he needed testing on through our Telegram channel.
Nice. Can we drop a link to your Telegram channels for all the attendees? That way they can follow and just make sure they're getting up to date, information as well. And
I believe we can. Let me bring that up here.
and attendees, like, please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A in the chat. I think this has been a great conversation and overview of the Silica Nexus business model, product, and overall just an investment opportunity. So feel free, if you have any burning questions, like, please don't hold it back. And no question is a stupid question in my mind. So, like, please feel free to throw your questions in the chat, in the Q&A.
Hey, from me to hosts and panelists. Well, I don't think I need to do that. I think I need to send it to
attendees as well,
attendees, everyone. There we go.
right?
I believe it's this link. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. If you want to try that and jump in, you can add to our Telegram channel, and we can start building that back up as we build towards a launch.
Awesome. Great. So we have about 15 minutes here. I just want to, the final question I have for you today, Andrew, is like, what are your top reasons to investors should consider investing? If you can sum it up in like 3 to 5 reasons, what would those be?
Well, everybody understands how large the blockchain industry is growing. We have a ready-made audience that understands digital assets, knows the real world value of them, and we're not changing any user behavior. We're giving those users what they want, better prices. So that gives us a leg up on everyone. We have a leg up on our competition because we are going into the out-of-home entertainment to onboard people. And once they pull an NFT from an arcade, they're in our system. We have turned our customer acquisition costs into a profit center. What company can tell you that? That's one of our profit centers. So that helps us cross the chasm. And the team has done this before. I mean, we built from the founders that came together come out of the original Atari, Nintendo, Namco, and Sega, guys that have reimagined and rebuilt the video game industry as they come, as they presented in many different conferences. They've done that already 5 times before. Now it's time to do it again. So, we have the team that knows how to do this and has decided it needs to be done.
Incredible. I want to remind everyone that there are still early bird terms left, though not very much left, like less than 2,000. So that will go quickly. And for those of you here, you have this exclusive opportunity to head over now and, reinvest or consider, if you haven't invested now, to invest and join the investor community as this company grows. As we've discussed here, there's an incredible market opportunity. There's an incredible leadership behind the team. And I think there's huge traction already that the company has had so far. So please head over to WeFunder, check out the investment opportunity. If you have questions, don't be shy. Making an investment, that takes considerable consideration. And investors, we should do our due diligence. So if you have questions, please feel free to, you can leave them on the WeFunder page where the Silica Nexus team is moderating the questions and comments section. Or you can even maybe reach out to the Silica Nexus team directly. Andrew, what's the best way for people who have questions to reach out to you?
I believe the best way for them to reach out to us is through the Telegram channel. It's the droid token, as I posted up here, t.me/droid token. That's probably the best way for them to reach out to us.
Awesome. And don't forget to follow the campaign on WeFunder as well. Silica Nexus will be posting more updates as well. So as you mentioned, there's some goals to be met by Q1 of next year, getting the first kiosks out in the market. So that'll be an exciting update that you're not going to want to miss. We're going to be hosting more webinars like this as well. So, don't miss those. Feel free to bring your friend, family, buddy, colleague who would also be interested in Silica Nexus and investing. So more to come. So don't miss out, and feel free to, hit the follow button on WeFunders, and also follow on Telegram as well.
Oh, and if anybody is in Dubai for Dubai Blockchain Week, which that's why we're here, look me up.
Yes. Oh yeah. Andrew, why don't we have a few minutes here left? So why are you in Dubai at Dubai Blockchain Week?
Well, we have some deals that were set up 3 months ago when we were here in Dubai last, and they invited us back out to hopefully close those. And when those close, they will be international news. I'll just leave it at that. We'll see how that goes. And because right now, there is no better place to be if you're in blockchain or crypto than Dubai. I mean, literally, there's 6 events a day that you could go to, and all of which has very influential people. The movers and shakers in the blockchain space right now are roaming around Dubai. I know that from here, October 25th, they're doing like Coin Agenda and that in Las Vegas, which is another event to attend that we will be heading to next. But there's 20 times that going on right now this week in Dubai. So a lot of really big things happening in Dubai. It's becoming one of the centers for crypto and blockchain.
Awesome. How long are you going to be there, Andrew?
We leave on the 19th.
Oh wow! So you're going to be there for a large chunk of time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to take to work this deal from front to end. So
well, we're excited. Like I said, everyone, stay tuned. More updates to come on WeFunder, Telegram. We really appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day today to come and speak with us, ask your questions, learn more about the investment opportunity. And like I said, there's way more to come. Any final words, Andrew, before we let our attendees go?
You're going to put me on the spot with that one. It's like, thanks for everybody coming, and hopefully we can be delivering a lot of NFTs to you here in the near future. We had a time capsule NFTs, and those have gotten more valuable over the last year because they will be launching as soon as we launch the Gen 2 platform by the end of the year. So
perfect. Well, thank you everyone once again. Stay tuned for more, and we hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.